Yeah, greetings of the day. So on this day, in this video, you're going to learn the concepts of forms, validation, API, and W3.CSS in AngularJS. This is a continuous video for the series. So, forms in AngularJS. Forms can use the ng model directive to bind input fields to the scope of a particular model or that particular form. So what is a form? A form in AngularJS are used to collect the input and bind it to application data. So AngularJS enhances forms with two-way data binding, built-in validation, and easy interaction with controllers. So forms in AngularJS are powerful tools for collecting and validating user input. So AngularJS enhances traditional HTML forms by providing two-way data binding, real-time validation, and easy-to-use directives to manage form states and input elements. The functionality makes the forms dynamic, interactive, and easier to integrate with the application logic. Here we use the name attribute of the form and input elements gives the access to the form controller and input states. For example, we are having $valid, $invalid, pristine, etc., etc. Let us study these things now. So the directives used in AngularJS forms are these. So we have a directive ng model. It binds the value of an input field to a model in the scope. To a model in the scope. So what ng model does, it binds. Then ng submit specifies an action to take when the form is submitted. So either go to the next page or process the data or parse the data, whatever it is. Okay. So name. A name is assigns a name to a form. Every form may have a name. If you have a single form in the web page, name is not required. But if you have more than one form, so name is required in that case. So name assigns the name of a form or a input field that creates a reference to the form controller. So better have a name in the form. So required, it makes an input field mandatory. Without that, you are going to get an error. Ng disabled means that field is disabled. We can't modify that table, that field or the text box, whatever it is, at runtime. Ng change executes an expression whenever the value of the input field changes. In G pattern, it validates the input value against a regular expression. We can have a rule that we are going to allow only numbers, or we are going to allow only alphabets or a specific set of characters. So that is will be performed using ng pattern. Ng minimum length, min length, it sets the minimum number of characters for an input field. So ng max length, it sets a maximum number of characters for input validation. So these things will be specifically used in text areas or text boxes as required. So no validate, it disables the native HTML file from validating to rely on AngularJS validation instead. So don't validate using HTML5, you just validate that particular data entered into that component using AngularJS. So two things are different. HTML5 is different, validation with respect to, as well as AngularJS is also a different one. So I hope you understood this slide. Let us move to the next one. Form states, various states in which a form may be. So price time, $price time, it is true if the user has not interacted with the form or input. Means you have restarted the server or the server is ready to be served and nobody has accessed any page on that server, then $price time will be true. If somebody has opened that site, then price time will be false. Means we have been used by that service. $dirty, true if the user has modified the form or input. So this will be true, otherwise it will be false. $valid, true if all the validations of the form input are satisfied. $invalid is opposite to it. It will be true if at least one validation rule for the form or input is not satisfied. $touch, when we have a form, we will be having compulsory attributes. We'll be having non-compulsory attributes or boxes on a registration page. So some will leave. We don't even touch them. So here $test means true if the user has focused and unfocused the input field, means the cursor went into the text field or some field and it came out of it. Then it is true. $untouched, true if the input field has not been focused yet, means we didn't place our cursor in that particular text box or text area or any other component. And finally, the $error, it contains a list of all validation errors to for the form input. I hope this slide is clear. Otherwise, you can comment in the comment section. So now let us see one example program. So in order to see this example program, we can use either AngularJS installation or we can use CDN. So let us copy that CDN first, then we do the rest. So in order to do this, let us create one folder. So let's do that. Let us go to desktop. Let us create one new folder. So a new folder is created. Let us write rename forms and arrest. So let us open this. So this is the area or play area of this particular session. So in order to download the CDN, let us go to AngularJS website. Yeah, AngularJS website. So welcome to SR University's website. Here we are having sru.edu.in. So in this website, you can find the various courses that are being offered in the university where I work. Okay, you can just go through this particular website for further information. So now let us get back to AngularJS. So I type here angularjs.org. Here we are having two things, try the new AngularJS or Angular download AngularJS. Let us click on download AngularJS. So we are getting a pop-up. So you can see here the branch 1.8x is the latest one, 12.1.2.x is legacy one. Legacy ones means the basic one. So let us keep it as 1.8.x latest. Then here we are having minified means reduced in terms of code, uncompressed means it is bigger one, zip means compressed entirely. So let us select minified. Here we are having CDN. The rest are there. You can go through that. So let me select this one by double clicking, copy that one. Then let us come back to Notepad. Let us write the code on Notepad. So I write here script src source is equal to double quotes. Then I paste it. Thank God, everything is fine. Then close the script tag. So you move this from here to the bottom. Yeah, that's great. So this is our script tag. So we'll be using this CDN all the time. So now what we want to do is we want to create a form which is going to uh, read the data and performs all the operations. So let us see that one now. So in order to see that, we need to create, first of all, doc type HTML as the first tag. Doc type HTML. Then we have to start the HTML tag. I say HTML, then we can have lang is equal to English. We can specify the language. Sorry, EM. It's typing correctly. EM. So after this HTML language is equal to English, we can have here itself the ng app. We say that this is a ng app is equal to, let us give a name, form app. So we are creating a form app. So we are specifying here that we are using a form app, which is a ng app. Okay. Then we are going to have a header tag over here. In header tag, we are having this script tag. We can close the header tag. So in between, we can also write a title tag. So let us write title of this particular website. So let us write here form validation. That ends our title tag. Okay. So we got the title, we got the script. Let us write some styling also inside the header, header or header. Style tag, sorry. style tag. Let us have a closing style tag too here. So closing style tag. You can use any other editor. I'm using Notepad here for my convenience. You can use Visual Code Editor or some other uh, editor where you can get the code very easily. Okay. So let us write one style for dot error. So dot style for error. So I want to give whenever there is an error, I want to give color as red. Color as red. Sorry. Then if there is no error, means it is valid. Dollar valid, then color is either blue or green. It's your wish. So I'll keep green, I'll keep red over here. So this is what we have a style. Okay. So now let us go with the body tag. We have finished the header part. So in this header part, we are having a script tag that what we have downloaded from our AngularJS CDN. Then we have the style tag inside this header part. Now let's start the body tag. So we have a body tag. Let us have a closing body tag also here itself. So one more is closing HTML tag. So closing HTML tag. So in the body tag, we are going to start the coding part. Okay. So what we are going to do in the body, we are going to specify that it is a controller or body itself is a controller. So we write ng hyphen controller is equal to what is the name of that controller. I say form controller, ng hyphen form controller. So then what we are going to do is we are going to specify that we are going to start a registration form is to registration form. Then what the registration form will have? We must start with the form tag. That is what our today's class. Let us close the form tag event. So let us close the form tag. So in between, we are going to have the layout of particular form, but we need to specify some components with the form tag. Okay, form will be having a name. So just now we said a form need to have a name. Even though it is a single form in this particular web page, we need to have form. So I write here registration form as the name of the form. Registration name as the name of the form. Now I don't want this to be validated by HTML5. So we write no validated. Okay. Then we say we have ng submit. We have a submit tag, submit button in this one. Ng submit is equal to submit form. When I submit this particular form, what must happen? Submit form is a method in the script that we are about to write. Okay. So what we have here, name of this particular form is a registration form. When no validate means it should not validate using HTML5. Only AngularJS has to validate it. In the submit, when we submit this particular form, it has to execute the function called as submit form. Okay. So now let us place some components in this particular form tag. So what it must have? It must have a name field first. So let us start a name field. A name field need to have a label. So I write here label. Label for is equal to name. Label for is equal to name. Then I write name here. Then the label desired. Then I write label. Okay. Sorry, label. Label. Sorry. Label for name is equal to name. Okay. We need to place a text box. So input type. So we write here input type is equal to text. Then we need to give one ID for that one. ID is equal to name. Then after ID, let us give a name tag also. Name is equal to, because after some time we may use PHP also. So name is equal to name. Then we need to give ng model. Okay, what kind of ng model we are going to give? So I write here ng model. Ng hyphen model is equal to what? Ng hyphen model is equal to what? So this is username. So I write here user dot name. User dot name. So I also require this one. So I write this field as required one. Okay. I require this field. So I write here required. Then we can do minimum length as well as maximum length. So I write here minimum length is equal to how many characters. So I'll give here minimum 3 characters are required for username, and max length is equal to how many maximum characters are required for a name. So I give 15. It depends on the database when you create the fields, so you can have these things. If you don't want required here, required can be kept at the last one. So I remove here, I'll keep this required over here. Okay, this field is required one. So what it has, a text box is having input type is equal to text. Then we say ng model, it is user dot name. Every user may have a name. So then we are giving an ID, then we are giving a name. Then we have minimum length, maximum length, and required field. So this is our input type is equal to text. So we don't have a closing tag, so let us keep a slash over here. So this ends our input type. Now, if it is not touched, we need to find out that the registration form dot name has been used or not. Okay. So if it is not used, then we need to display error message. So let us write that aspect also over here. So I write one div over here. Let us write a div ng hyphen show. So this is what we are going to write, what we want to show, when we want to show. So we are going to write a condition over here. So we have a registration form here. So I'll copy this registration form over here. In this registration form, we are having something called as a name. Name. Okay, I'm copying this registration form dot name dot. Now I want to see whether it is true or not. So I say dollar touch. It is true when it is touched, otherwise it will be false. Okay, now this is one thing, and I will be having one more thing, that is and. So whether it is touched, and I'm writing 2 ampersand, then again I write the same thing, registration form dot name dot valid, whether that particular attribute is valid or not. Dollar, if these two are true, means the component is touched, as well as the component is what do you say, is valid. Okay, so one option is touched and valid, the other option is what, invalid. So I'll make it as invalid because I have to raise an error. If it is invalid, then I have to raise an error. Then what I say, I will be providing this as a class is equal to error, because we are having CSS for this one, class is equal to error. If this is the case, I'm moving this to error class. Okay. Now I want to display some information. I want to say that the name is required. Okay. If I got an error, what I need to do, I need to display some text. So I write here span. I want to show. So I write ng hyphen show is equal to what I want to show. Ng hyphen show what I want to show. When when the error is required. Okay, for example, we are getting an error, class error we have specified in the above line. So what we are going to write here, same registration form dot name dot dollar error dot required, dollar required, registration form dot name dot error required. Then what we need to do, we need to display that the name is required. Name is required. Then close the span tag slash. I hope it is clear now. What we are doing here, we are displaying the information when registration form dot name dot error dot required is true. Required is true. In the error class, we got that message. So now, if it is having minimum length, let us copy this one. Again, let us paste this one. So registration form dot name dot error dot. Now here we are having required. Now we change it to min length. We are going to change it to min length. So here name must be more than 3 characters. Name must be more than 3 characters. I hope this is clear now. We are displaying that the name must be at least 3 characters long. Then if we are having maximum length, error, so let us validate that also. Yes. So copy this one. So right now, paste it one. Now instead of min length, now we are writing max length. Name must be less than we are giving 15 characters. We have given 15 characters. If you see here, max length is 15 characters. Must be less than 15 characters. Max. Okay. Or we can say name cannot exceed. Name cannot exceed 15 characters. Names cannot exceed 15 characters. So this is somewhat better one. So this ends our conditions. We are having 3 conditions: required, minimum length, and maximum length. So then we will end the div over here because we started the div for this particular input type. So let us close the div over here, slash div. So this much code we have to write in AngularJS to display a single label called as name. Similarly, let us write the code for password also. So how to display password field or a email field? Let us go with the email field first. Okay. So let us have a label field. So I'll copy this label. So label for email. So let us write here email. So we have placed a label for email over here. Now, what is the next one? Input type. So let us copy that input type also from the above. So input type, copy. So here input type is equal to email. ng model is equal to, we are going to write here, ng model is equal to user dot email. Wherever name is there, you just replace with email. ID is equal to email. Name is equal to email. So email will not have minimum length or maximum length. If you have, you can keep that particular condition. Okay. So we remove this one, max length and min length. So we keep required. That's it. So this ends our input field. Now let us have this registration form touch, required, and email. 3 things are there: touched, required, and email. So let us copy this div. Then let us copy this span. One span is sufficient. So let us copy this one. So registration form dot email dot touched and registration form dot email dot invalid. Then it must go to the class called as error class. So we need to display that particular information in span tag. So registration form dot email dot error. So email is required. One span tag is over. Next, what we can have, one is required field is over. The other one is invalid email format. Okay, invalid email format. So we can display this information also. So let us write, copy this span tag. Let us display over here registration form dot email dot error dot email. Error dot email. So we can say that in this state, the email is not in a valid format. So we can say that email is invalid. Email is invalid. So this is what we have in this particular component called as email. So let us close the div tag over here. So I hope the email tag is clear with you. So the next one, what we have over here is password. So we can write the code for password. A password may also have minimum length. A password may have maximum length. So we can use any one of the two components. So min length, max length means let us go with the name attribute. So let me copy the div from here to label. So let me copy this one over here. Don't get confused. I'm just copying the name. So now label for password. So you can write password completely or you can write PWD, your wish. So I'll write password completely here. Password. Did I hit record? Screen sharing. Yeah, it's going on. Good. So we got password, label. Then we have input type is equal to password, user dot password, ID is also password, name is also password. So you can have minimum length and maximum length. So I say that the minimum length required is 6 characters and maximum is 15 characters maximum. So let us stick with this one. Or if you have no maximum length, just remove that one. Okay, it's up to you whether to keep maximum length or not. So here we write password. Then here also, if it is invalid, password. So now let us concentrate. So we have rewritten the form tag in the show. Now let us write password dot error required. If the password is not entered, so we write password is required. Dot min length. Okay, so here password. So password must be more than 3 characters. Generally, we don't expect this one. Password must be, so min length is one, required is one, touched. So there is no max length, so let us remove this one. So these are two sufficient for password. Then let us close the div tag. So this is regarding how to create a password validation in AngularJS. So we can have a submit button here. So let us create a submit button. So submit button doesn't have any label. So directly we write input, sorry, button. Either you can go with input type is equal to button or directly you can use type called as button. Type is equal to submit. Button type is equal to submit. Then ng disabled. Yeah, you can go with ng disabled is equal to, if it is disabled, means registration form became invalid. Okay, so we write registration form dot registration form dot invalid dollar invalid. What do you mean by this? When we submit the registration form, if it is invalid, okay, it will become invalid. Then click on this one, dollar register. Invalid, no, not invalid dollar register. It must be register. Then let us close the button tag. So if disabled, when we click on that button, it must start registration form dot invalid is the concept. Then we close the form tag. So we have finished our component. Let us close the form tag. Then after closing the form tag, what we have to do is we have to display the debugging part. Okay. So let us display errors where we got. Okay. So here what we do is we are going to write debugging information after form tag. So H3 is the tag that we are going to use. So what is the debugging info that we want to say? Okay. So let us write the code for paragraph tag. So we are going to display in paragraphs P and slash p, because we are having three different types of errors. We will keep three paragraphs here. Okay. So now, what is the first one? Form is valid. Form is invalid or dirty. Then third one is form is submitted. These are the three different labels for which we are expecting a value. So where we got this one? So form registration form. We are getting here a registration form dot dollar valid. That's it. Okay, so here we need to have a double flower bracket, not a single one, a double one. So this is going to do validation part. So let us copy this one thrice. Same thing. So here it is dirty. So remove valid from here, dirty. Yeah. Then here it is submitted. So we need to check whether the form has been submitted or not. So here we write submitted. Form valid, form dirty, form submitted, whatever it is. Okay. So this is regarding the script. Now this is regarding the display of the information. When we got error, we didn't got the error. So let us write the script for this one, where we are going to display controller information, angular.module, etc., etc. So let us copy the script. Script open, script close. In this between, we are going to create app angular.module. We are going to write form app, what we have given earlier here. Form app, the same thing. Form app here. Then we don't have any dependencies, so we keep a opening and closing. Then give semicolon, press enter. So that is the first one that we have defined a module. Now let us define a controller. So we can also continue this one. So let us write dot controller. Let us remove the semicolon over here. So dot. So I'll go to the next line and write dot. This is continuation to that one. Controll. What happened? Controller. So the controller of this one is we have this form controller. Just a second. Form. What is this form? Yeah, registration form, no validate. In the submit, why we got this one? Just a second. Yeah. So here we are having form controller. Okay. So it is in process. Yeah. So let us continue. Controller. So the name of the controller is form controller. So form controller, then function dollar. So this is the function starting point of this particular function. So we write here flower bracket. Now in this function, what we want to do to display or to validate whatever it is. So here we write if dollar $scope. If dollar $scope, we are going to check here. So before that, validating the registration form dot value. So let me copy this one. Registration form dollar $scope dot registration form dot valid. We want to display some information on an alert message. So let us display an alert message over here. So if that is true, then I want to display alert message. So what I want to display alert, the form submitted inside the form submitted successfully. I'm displaying inside this alert message. Else, I want to display that the form is submission. Sir, వస్తున్నా సార్. Second. So otherwise, we are going to display the form has errors. Else, yeah, else I want to display the same alert. Copying this alert, then form is having errors. I want to display form is having errors. So this is what we are having. So before this, what we want to do is this if condition must be inside another controller. So let us write first one dollar scope message dollar dot user is equal to none. Dollar scope user is equal to none. So after that, we need to check whether the submit form button has been pressed or not. Then only we have to execute this if condition. Otherwise, we are going to get the alert all the time. So we say dollar scope dot submit form dollar scope dot submit form is equal to function dollar scope dot function. Then we have to execute this if condition. So I'll close one more over here. So else, then a semicolon, then here also a semicolon. This ends our script. This ends our script. After closing of script, we close body, we close HTML. So now this is the code which is going to do form validation. Now this is ready to be saved. I can save file, save as, or save whatever you do. So I'll save this on my desktop. So I'm giving here form validation dot HTML in double quotes. So because yeah, yes. So let us load this page. Yeah. So this is the page that we have just developed. So here, if you see, we got name, email ID, then password. If you don't enter, you are getting name is required, email is required, password is required, error messages are being displayed. And if you see, the registration button is disabled. It is not enabled. So at the down, you see form debugging info, form is valid is false. False is that is also false, form is submitted is also. So let us give some data over here. So I'm giving my name, then my email ID, ali@sru.edu.in. As we are giving the data, you can see that the error messages are vanishing. So I'm giving some random number. Then you can see the register button got enabled. And let us say at the bottom, form debugging info, you can see that the form is valid is true. Previously it was false, now it is converted to true. Form is dirty is also converted or is true. But if you see form is submitted is false because we didn't click on a register button. So let us click on register button. So we got the pop-up also, the alert message which we have written the code for. So form submitted successfully, then click on OK. Once you click on OK, you might have noticed that the form submitted became true. Okay, so the registration form is not correctly aligned. You can have CSS for this one to align in line by line in a structured format. You can do that. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Let us move with the next one. So now let us just now we discussed that we can create custom validation also. So let us try one program or application or app to do this custom validation for password strength. So let us write one comment stating the same. So custom validation for password strength. Okay. So now, so as what we have done in the earlier program, let us copy the SDN first. Okay. So let us copy the SDN, sorry, CDN. So AngularJS.org, download AngularJS. Let me copy the CDN. content delivery network. Then let us come back. So let us write script source is equal to, then close the script tag. So generally I do this first. So let us start with doc type, the first tag that we need to type in this AngularJS related code. Okay, so doc type, sorry, HTML. So we have started this code and we'll be closing the HTML at the end. Slash HTML. So we'll be having some body. So we'll be closing some body tag. So here we'll be having a head tag for this one. So let me write closing head tag, and before it will be having opening head tag. So let us write a title for this one. Custom validation for password. Let me write the same thing. So close the title. So doc type HTML, then head. We may add some meta tags as required. Then let us start this body, editing this body code. Okay, so body tag. So let us make this as a ng model. We can make HTML as ng model or ng controller. So let us make this as, sorry, head HTML. We didn't add an HTML tag. Very bad. HTML. So now let us make it as an app. So we are going to make it as ng-app is equal to, you can give any name here. I'm going to give generally my app. Now here I'm going to say custom validation app. Okay, for my satisfaction, I say custom validation app. So this is what I'm going to prepare, and I want to give that a language is equal to English. So we can give this one also lang is equal to English. So en. Custom validation is the name of the app that I'm creating, and let us create a controller in the body. Okay, a controller. So we write ng hyphen, sorry, ng hyphen controller is equal to. So we can give generally the controller name over here as a controller, form controller, get controller, or our custom validation controller, because we are going to make it as a custom validation app. So let us give custom validation controller. Custom validation controller. So this is our body starting part. So let us give a heading. So let us give h2. You can give h1 also. So term, password, validation code. We can give h2 closing tag. So this became our heading for our page. So then after this, let us create one form as usual. Form tag. So here form tag, we can give inside the form tag as a name we need to provide. Then we can give whether we can validate or not. Okay, form validate or no validate. Generally we don't want to validate because HTML5 should not validate this form, so we write no validate. So let us complete this form. Name is equal to, so let us give a name. So custom form, you can give any valid name, then no validate. So we say that the HTML5 should not validate this particular page. That is our intention. So now let us create some labels. Let us create some input fields. So let me close this form tag also. Form tag, in between this form tag and body tag, we are going to write the labels and input types. So label for is equal to, So first password, what we require is password. So we write here password. You can write any label as that desires your need. So label for password. So we write here in between password. So this is our label. Now let us write one. Input type is equal to text is equal to, sorry, not text, password. So name is equal to password, ID is equal to password, ID is equal to password. So then what we are supposed to have over here is we need to provide that it as an ng model. So ng hyphen model is equal to. So it is attached to user dot password. So we write here user dot password. Now this is the place where we say that it is a required field and we have password validation for this one. So we write password hyphen validate. This is what we need to perform. So give a space password hyphen validate. So after validating that password, and moreover, we say that it is a required field. So we write it is required. So input type is equal to password, name is equal to password, ID is equal to password, then ng model is equal to user dot password, then password hyphen validate. We want to validate this particular password, and moreover, it is a required one. Moreover, it is a required one. So if you see here, we started with the label, we started with the input type is equal to password. Now what we are going to do is we are going to attach the error messages. So what we want to show as ng hyphen show. Okay, what we want to show. So let us start a div over here. So div, opening div as well as a closing div. Now let us continue. Sorry, just a second. Now let us continue the div part. So what we want to do, we want to show ng hyphen show is equal to what you want to show. So you say that the custom form, whatever we have created over here, custom form tag. Where is the form tag? Yeah, custom form dot. Inside the custom form, component called as password. There is a component called as password. So name custom form dot password. Now this password must be touched as well as it must be invalid. Then I want to display a message. Okay, dot touch. Then touch, and what we want to do, we want to check whether it is valid or not. So I will copy this content, paste, and sorry, and custom form dot password dot invalid. So what we want to do when it is invalid as well as it is touched. So in both the cases, we need to display something. Okay. So what we want to display, we want to display that the password is required. So we can have a class like what we have done earlier in the program, a separate class where we will be having a green color and a red color, or we can have the style included in a span tag. So we write a span tag over here, span tag. So in this span tag, we write style. Style is equal to, then we say color colon red. So we want to display the information in red color. That's it. So what we want to do, we want to show ng hyphen show. Ng hyphen show is equal to what we want to show. Custom form dot password dot error required. So we may be having so custom form dot password. I'm copying this one. So custom form dot password custom form dot password dot required dot error dot required error dot required. So when we have this one, we can say that password is required. So then close the span tag. So what we have done over here, I will just let me explain what we have done over here is we have said custom form is the name of the form. The field is password. In that we have got an error. If you got an error, what is kind of that error required? Okay. So here you can have all those things like what we had in our PPT. So what is that? Just a second. Yeah. Valid, invalid, persistent, dirty, touched, untouched, error. So, okay, inside that error, whether it is touched, whether it is untouched, whether it is dirty, whether it is price time. So you can have this required to be replaced with all those things. Okay. So that is what the first thing what we have done. So if the password is not entered, that also we need to cover. So that we can do as per our previous example. So we can go with the password containing a number of special characters. If a password is having special characters, then we should not allow that one. For that we let us write a code. So let me remove this stuff. So again, let me take one more span tag style is equal to color, ng show is equal to custom form dot password dot. So let me copy till this part. Custom form dot color red when ng show custom form dot password dot. Now what we want to do, we want to find the length or the strength error. So password dot, where is that? Yeah, password dot error dot. Now, here we need to check the strength of that particular password. So how to check the strength of that particular password is we are going to write so password dot error dot password strength password strength. So this is how we got the strength of that particular password. So what we write here, let us close this tag. Then we say that password is not acceptable. Then close the span tag. Okay, you can say the password strength is not acceptable by the user or requirement, or you can say that the password must contain a number and a special character. Okay, so you can give more information for that one. Password must contain so a number and a special character. You can give a desired message, so but that message must be giving the decorum of that application, what we are going to do. Okay, what is required for that particular one. So this is what we have. Then after password strength, we are going to create a button for this one. So in order to create the button, we need to close this particular div. We need to close this particular div. So this div is over here. Then we start input, sorry, button. So there is a option for creating a button either through button or through a button type. So button tag, so type is equal to submit. Then input type, sorry, button type is equal to submit. Then you say ng disabled. Why? Because once the user starts typing the password, then only the button must be enabled for display purpose or usage purpose. So ng disable is equal to, okay, ng disable when it must be enabled when the user starts typing the code, when it should disable when the user doesn't enter the code. So we say that here when it is invalid, okay, when it must be disabled when it is invalid. Custom form dot password dot dollar invalid. So when it is custom form dot password is invalid, the button must be disabled. So this is what we are writing. So invalid, after that, let us write submit, then close the button tag. So this is our button tag that is going to be used to submit that particular submit that particular form. So let us close the form here. Then body will go down. So what we are going to do here is we are going to start our script actual part. Close the script tag. So in between we are going to write our AngularJS code. So what it is Angular module. So let us start with Angular. Let us prescribe just a second. Angular module. So in this module, we have this particular creation of this particular validation controller. So we have created a module custom validation app, I think. So yeah, let us take this custom validation app. Let us write it over here because we don't have any dependencies. We remove that one. So Angular module custom validation app with custom validation app must be either in single quotes or in double quotes. Then we have no dependencies for this form, so we write open and closed square brackets. So we can also continue this one, or we can go with the next one. So I try to continue. Then we have this controller. Okay, dot. So controller. Mhm. Yeah, dot controller. Yes. So let us take the name of the controller. Where is this controller? Yeah, custom validation controller. So let me copy that one. Controller, custom validation controller must be again in double quotes or single quotes. I prefer single quotes. Then comma, it is a function. So function, then in between, just a second, function, then wait, one more is not coming. Okay, dollar scope, then this is our function where we are going to describe what we want to do. So we have a user for this one. A directive must be created. Uh, so let us write dollar scope dot user is equal to nobody. So dollar scope dot user is equal to no one. So we say that there is no user, or the values of the users are being made to blank. So this is our first one. uh, Custom validation controller function scope user. Okay, great. So let us create a directive for this one. Yeah, dot directive. Then we have a password value. Password validate. We have given the password validate in our input type password validate. Okay. So this password validate is a directive that we are going to write now. Okay. So let us write directive is equal to password validate. Okay. By a function. By a function. How to validate that password? Okay. So it must return something, that function. So I'll keep a semicolon for this one, a semicolon for this one. So what it has to return? Require colon ng hyphen, sorry, no hyphen, ng hyphen model, comma. So it is required. Ng model is required. Then we will be having link function. scope, no dollar symbol. So here inside return function, we should not use ng hyphen symbol or a dollar symbol. So we are going to directly write these things. So scope comma element comma attributes comma ng model. This is what we want to return. So not this one, opening a parenthesis link. We are writing the function for this link operation. We are writing the function for the link operation. So what it must have? Now we call ng model dot validate. Ng model dot validate. Now we want to validate this particular password that is being entered by the user. Okay, so we are going to validate the data entered by the user. Okay, so what we want to validate? So here, sorry, model dot dollar validate model dot, just a second, dollar validate validators dot password strength is equal to function value. Function value. So here we want to describe what must be there inside the password. So we write return what must be returned. Okay, so slash, then parenthesis, then question mark is equal to, we are going to give what we want first. Okay, a dot symbol is required inside the email. Then maybe there may be a character or collection of characters, 0 to 9 are allowed. Okay, not a single one, multiple ones, then you are going to give asterisk symbol. Then we may require numbers, then we may require the rest of the characters. Okay, so the rest of the characters are question mark is equal to what you want, is equal to again a dot, a star, a square bracket. Then what it must have, it may be having exclamatory mark, at the rate, hash, dollar, percentage, tilde, all the symbols on your keyboard, and star. Then close this one. Okay, these are the symbols. Then after this one, slash dot test with the value. So email password is being verified by this one. Then keep a semicolon. So now let us close all the rest of the opened flower brackets. So 1, 2, 3, 4 parenthesis. Great. Then close the script tag, then body tag, then HTML tag. I hope this will work fine. So let us save this one as the one that I earlier saved on the desktop, form validation.php, all files. So form f. Okay. HTML. Yes. So let us come to form validation screen. Yeah, thank God. Form validation screen is shared accurately, no issue. So let us reload this page. So we got custom password validation, password field, password is required, password must contain a number of special characters. Okay. So let us go to the next slide. So validation in AngularJS, already we covered this part of the thing, I think, in the previous section. So required makes a field mandatory. So we need to enter the data into that field, that is compulsory. So min length and max length, just now we have seen enforce length constraints. Then we have seen pattern. So we can even further improvise that pattern for having a regular expression for email. Okay, so that we'll see. Then email in the input is valid email address or not. So regarding this form validation, in AngularJS is a feature-rich system that simplifies the process of ensuring form inputs meet specific criteria. So AngularJS provides both built-in validation directives and the ability to define custom validations. So making it as flexible and powerful tool for validating user input in web applications, AngularJS offers built-in validation directives such as these required min length, pattern, email, etc. So the input form fields or the form input states are dollar $valid, dollar $invalid, dollar $pristine, dollar pristine, dollar $dirty. These allows dynamic feedback and error messages to get implemented in our AngularJS. So let us go with the key form and input states in validation. Just now we covered all of these. That is dollar $valid, dollar $invalid, dollar pristine, dollar $dirty, dollar touched, dollar untouched, and dollar error. Let us go to the next one. So the next topic is, or the concept in this particular session is APIs in AngularJS. So we are having these things to implement the APIs concept. So that is, we can fetch the data, we can send the data, we can update the data, we can delete the data. But an API is application program interface. In AngularJS, it refers to the built-in services, methods, and components that are provided by AngularJS to interact with the external system. It can fetch the data, it can manipulate the data within AngularJS applications. So APIs in AngularJS are required or essential for building dynamic data-driven web pages or applications, as they allow developers to connect with the services. So we have RESTful APIs or third-party APIs to perform CRUD. CRUD in the sense CRUD means create, read, update, and delete. Create, read, update, and delete. Altogether, it is called as CRUD operations. So this can be easily performed in AngularJS using our APIs. So AngularJS provides, the first one is HTTP service to interact with the APIs. So http.get URL, so we can fetch the data from a server, any server, which is ready to provide us the data. So we need to select that, check that API and get that data by providing that URL. Then send http.post. If you want to transform the data, you want to send the data to a server, then you can use http.post, where you will be having URL and which data you want to send, so like username, password, or any other specific string that you want to send, like what happens in jQuery, the same thing. So the next one is update. If we want to update the existing data on a particular web page, so http.put URL comma data, what we want to put. Then we are having delete. So http delete, it is going to delete a particular specific URL from the server. So regarding this, let us start one example program by which we can understand all these operations thoroughly. Okay. So in order to implement this one, we are having certain, what do you say, services. Let us first see those services first. So these are the services that we have. So HTTP, $HTTP, it performs HTTP requests such as get, post, put, delete, and patch. Okay. So $resource simplifies working with RESTful APIs by creating resource objectives. And $Q, it manages asynchronous operations that include API call promises. Okay. And $HTTP backend is a lower level service that is used internally by HTTP for making various HTTP requests. So now let us start implementing a program for having all these services, that how to use them. Okay, let us start that one. So let us modify this one, the earlier program, form validation. So let me add. So here I want to perform API app. So I'll change this form app to API app. Then let us add a meta tag where it says that we are using UTF-8. Okay, so character set CHARSET is equal to UTF in double quotes UTF hyphen 8. So this says that we are using UTF-8 character set. We require the same CDN, content delivery network. So we are going to change the form title from form validation to AngularJS API example. AngularJS API example. Then so let us remove the style. We don't require as of now. Then we are closing the header tag. So here we doesn't require the form tag because we are working on APIs. So let me remove all this code that is not required. There's no script also we require till body. Yeah. So body ng controller. So here let us change the name of the form controller to API controller. API controller. Okay. ng controller is equal to API controller. Now let us change this data registration form to fetch data from API. So this is what our title is. Then let us write API controller button. Let us create a button without using a form tag. Also, we can create a button. So let us create it. Button ng hyphen click. A button performs a click operation is equal to when a button is clicked, I want to fetch the data from the API. That is my intention. So I write fetch data, then get data, then close the button tag. So on the screen, we have a button. Whenever we click on that fetch button, we need to fetch that one. So let us take one unordered list, UL. So close the unordered list. So let us add some list items. So li list item. Now this list item has to display all the list of titles that have been fetched. So list item must have a repeat operation. So it has to repeat till it gets all the list of titles. So we write here ng hyphen repeat is equal to what we want to repeat. We want to display the data that is in the form of posts. Okay. So post in posts. So we are expecting that the particular data will be having posts. From that, we are fetching all the posts and we want to display the title. So here we write post dot title. So this ends our list item. So here what we are doing is we are getting the API and that API that too from our AngularJS only. Then we are displaying the post title, which is in the form of posts by repeating the list item. So this is our front end. Let us start the code of script tag. So script, let me close the script tag also. Slash script. So here what we are going to do is we are going to fetch the data and we are going to display the data. So the first thing what we have here is Angular dot module. Here we write the name what we have given here is API app. Let us copy that one. API app, and it is not depending on, it is not having any dependencies. So we write Angular brackets, empty Angular brackets. So let us continue that one. We can also go to the next line and say dot controller. Then what controller we have created? We have created API controller. Yeah, just copy this API controller in single quote, API controller, comma, its function, and function dollar scope. Now, here we are going to add, along with the scope for getting the data, we need to add here dollar $HTTP hypertext transfer protocol. Open close flower bracket, enter. So here we are going to retrieve the data. So one new modification is, instead of adding only dollar scope, we add here dollar HTTP also. Okay. So let us clear all the posts first. So dollar scope dot posts is equal to empty. Initially we are initializing to an empty list. Then dollar scope dot fetch data is equal to function. Now we want to fetch the data. So here what we write is dollar $HTTP dot get the data. So we write here dollar $HTTP dot get data in brackets from where. Okay, there is a JSON placeholder URL. Just let me type that one: https double slash JSON JSON placeholder dot type typi at type. Let us check code.com slash posts. So this is a URL from where we want to fetch the data. Let us check what it is there actually. So let me open the browser. So here we are having the data. Our URL is right. Very good. I recollect it. So here we are having posts. Different posts are there. We want to display the title. Okay. We want to display the title from these posts. Already this URL is having the list of data. Huge number of file data is there. So let us display that one. So post, then dollar, then once we fetch this one, so we write here dot, then what we need to do. Then after loading the data, so what we need to do is we will write as response function in brackets response. Now we want to give it as a response. So once we retrieve that, we need to give as a response. So how to give the response? If you see here, we say post in posts, right? So we write here dollar scope dot posts, dollar scope dot posts is equal to response dot data. Okay, then a semicolon, response dot data. So we need to close this one, give a semicolon, then this one semicolon, then this one semicolon, close the script tag, then close the body tag, yeah, and HTML tag. So this is the function that gets the data from the URL https json placeholder dot typecode dot com. Then in that we have quotes. Okay, so that file is having this many number of values. Okay, so let us save this one, save the file, control yes, form validation. Now let us reload this form validation page. So we got fetch data from API. Okay, that is head to tag that we have, get the data. What happened? We are not getting the data. Doc type ng API app, HTML ng API app is okay, working fine. Head meta characteristic is equal to UTF-8. Okay. Script, same script tag, nothing change. ng control. One small mistake can also give us an issue. ng controller, data, H2. button ng click which data is correct. Which data get data post dot title post info USDS post in post. Okay. Oh, Angular dot module API app. Yeah, API app. Yes, we copied that one. I recollect. Dollar dot controller API controller function dollar scope dollar HTTP good dollar scope dot post correct dollar scope dot fixed data. The data is equal to function, nothing inside. Okay, dollar HTTP dot at data get the post put to delete. Okay, not get data. Get JSON placeholder dot typecode dot com slash post dollar then function response opening scope dot post is equal to response dot data close script. So I think we have made the mistake get data over here. So let me save this one. File, save. Let us go back. Is it sharing? Just let me check one. Share on the screen. Yeah. Share screen. Okay. Now let us reload the page. Fetch data from API, get data. Thank God. Yes, we are getting the data from the web page. Thank God. Only mistake is instead of writing get here, we have written get data there earlier. So let us move ahead to the next topic in our PPT. Where is the PPT? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So API in AngularJS is over. So next one is W3.CSS in AngularJS. W3.CSS in AngularJS. So this one is mainly concentrating on our style sheets. It is mainly concentrating on style sheets. So we have lightweight and fast, responsive design, easy of integration, built-in themes, customizable. So lightweight and fast means W3.CSS is a smaller and faster compared to the frameworks like Bootstrap. It does not depend on external JavaScript libraries, reducing the page load time. So bootstrapping means already the code is there that we are going to reuse. So responsive design, it is built for mobile first development, ensuring a seamless experience and across devices. We can have different types of devices. We may have a bigger screen, we may have a smaller screen. In mobile also we will be having different types of screens, so everything will be adjusted, or the app screen will be adjusted to that one, that is called as responsive design. So ease of integration, so W3.CSS classes can be easily applied to AngularJS components like forms, tables, buttons, modules, etc., or models. So built-in themes, W3.CSS provides predefined color themes and layouts, allowing developers to quickly style their applications. So customizable W3.CSS is classes are easy to override or extend, giving developers the flexibility to match the application design requirements. So integrating W3.CSS with AngularJS is through include as well as to create. Okay, either you can include a W3.CSS, that is when a layout page that is already available, or you can also go with creating a AngularJS application that is going to set up AngularJS app as usual. Then we will be implementing that one. Okay, so let us try the code related to this one. Then we will stop this session of recording. Okay. So let us continue AngularJS with W3.CSS. So let us change the code. API app, I want to change to W3 app. Okay. So this is one change. We need header tag, we need meta tag. a character script. So this is already CDN we have taken from AngularJS. Apart from that, we need to link a style sheet. Okay. So we can create our own style sheet, or you can use the existing style sheet. So there is a website called as W3schools.com. From that, you can download this, or you can take that W3.CSS file, because you can see in Angular, sorry, just a second, in this is not going down. Just a second. Yeah, plus I'm getting the screen recording screen. So Angular documentation. In Angular documentation, if you see developer guide, so here you can search for W3.CSS. So it is almost not found, almost W3.CSS. So we can go with bootstrapping or bootstrap, HTML compiler, animations, directives, forms, filters, expressions, templates, scope. So if you see directly, we can go with Google. So google.com, then try with W3.CSS. So first thing that we are getting here is W3.CSS, means we are getting W3 schools. Just open it. W3 schools, then yeah, you can see here we got this W3 schools, HTTPS, W3schools.com, W3.CSS. Just copy this one. This code is sufficient for us. So just now get back. Is it shareable? Screen share, share, screen is shared, right? Okay, done, no issue. Is getting shared, no issue, I think. Yeah. So now just add one CSS link. Okay. So let us go with link relation is equal to style sheet. Then href is equal to the copied string that we have done as of now. So you can search for AngularJS documentation. I didn't found that documentation. By the time you practice, maybe AngularJS may include that particular CSS file. But anyhow, we have W3 schools for us. So I'm using that one. Then we have this head tag where, sorry, title tag. So we can write here AngularJS W3 dot CSS example, W3.CSS example code that we want to execute. So inside the body, let me remove the entire thing. Yeah. So, okay, title. Let me remove the spaces. So body, we have, in body we have API control. So let us change to W3 controller. Okay. Just I'm giving a meaningful name for us to easily update. So let us, what we do is here, let us create some CSS styling. So let us go with a div. So div, then we can have a closing div even. So slash div. So now what we want to do here is we want to include a class is equal to, in double quotes, W3 hyphen container. So we are saying that we are writing the code for a container. Okay. Then it's this. So let us add some more colors to it. So I want to give W3 blue, add W3 with a blue color to it. Okay. So this is one div tag. So let us write one H team tag H2. So let us write that this is an AngularJS example of W3.CSS. So I give W3.CSS with AngularJS. With AngularJS. Then close this heading tag H2. AngularJS with header 2. So let us concentrate only on body. Okay. So this is what is our heading. So let us close this div. No, man. Okay. Let us close this div. This div is having so CSS, that is W3 container, and it is having W3 blue color. So let us create one more div, one more container where we want to have a input field with name. Okay. So let me create one more div for us. Yeah, now. So we'll create a div tag. Let us have a closing div tag together. So div tag. So what we want to make here, we want to create a particular name. Okay. So in this div tag, so let us write class is equal to W3 container. This is also a container. So just a second. Yeah. W3 container. So in this container, we want to create a label. So I write label for name. So we write here a name, then close the label tag. Then what we want to do is we want to create an input. Input type is equal to a text box. Then it may have an ID is equal to name. Name is equal to again name. Then we have ng model is equal to, we are going to give it as a user dot name. Then now here we want to give our W3.CSS. So in order to give W3.CSS, what we need to write here over here is class. Okay. So in order to give this class, we can write here class is equal to in double quotes. So now we are specifying which kind of class or bootstrapping does it apply. So we write in double quotes W3 hyphen input, then W3 hyphen border. So it is an input field. We want a border to this one. So this is one input text box that we are having. So then we let us display hello after the input text box. We want to display hello and that particular whatever the user has entered. So let us create one p tag, paragraph tag, then a closing p tag. P tag. What we want to do inside this p tag is we want to display hello, comma, whatever the user has entered text. Okay. So we write here user dot name. This is what we want to display. But when we are displaying, we want to display that in a some text color. Okay, say I want to display in green color. So let us give here p space. So class is equal to w3 hyphen text hyphen any color, green, blue, red. I'll give green. Okay, let us see what we are getting over here. So this is our paragraph tag and div tag. So we are left over with only one concept, that is our script. Okay, very tiny script we are going to write, not a lengthy one. Okay, so let us write script tag. Then let us have a closing script tag even. So slash script. So let me scroll this a little bit. Yeah, script tag. So what we want to display? We want to display the CSS of W3 over here. So inside the script, as usual, we are having something called as Angular dot module. So the name of the module is W3, yeah, W3 app. So better copy to avoid errors, typo errors. Okay, and it is not having any dependencies. So nothing over there. Then dot controller, I go with the next line, dot controller. So we have here again controller, comma, function. Here we don't use HTTP because we are not getting any data. So we are going to write only dollar scope. Then, so here we need to copy the name of the controller, W3 controller. Yeah, let me copy this one. Let me paste this over here. W3 controller dot function dollar scope. So let us write only one statement over here. $scope.user is equal to empty list. Then close. Oh, then script must be closed. Then body must be closed. HTML must be closed. So that's it. This is the program to display only the CSS to a little extent, not more. So I'm saving this as form validation. So let us go to the browser, HTML. Now we got in on the top W3 CSS with AngularJS. So how we got this one W3 CS with AngularJS? If you see here, we got this div tag W3 container. So this is a blue line is a container, and we are writing here W3 blue. If you change it to W3 red and save it, just reload this page. You got a red line. Okay. So this is how we create W3.CSS. This is also called as bootstrapping. So if you see here, the next component that we have is the name. The name is a bigger one. So this particular screen is a wider one. If you open the same page in a mobile phone, it will be up to mobile phone extent. So let me type here my name. So when I type my name here, I got in green color Dr. Mohammed Ali Shaik. Hello. So from where we got this one? Here, class input type label this div. Okay, we are writing here name, we got name, then the text box, then here I got text green, so let us make this blue. Save it, reload the page, then say the name. You are going to get the name. If you type any text, hello world, see, you can see the text is changing. The text is. So this is the little introduction how we are using W3.CSS in our application. Okay, so you can create n number of containers as you require. So this is a simple way. So we say W3 container, then W3 input, etc., etc. So in script tag we have nothing. Just we are taking scope.user. So that's it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can just type in the comment box, share this video to as many people as much as required. So if you give the comments, we can further improvise this particular series of preparing videos. So that's it for this day. Have a great day.